There's a rare thing that happens in the universe. It only happens once in a while. And I brought Brian on to discuss this rare occurrence where Brian is wrong.
Oh, ambush. I love it. I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay.
Bring it, old man.
I'm old man. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Yeah, somebody said the other day that when Larry Goldberg and I are on, we have 150 years of wisdom. And I said, I didn't know Larry was 90.
I wasn't going to be even that generous.
All right. So Brian, okay, we're going to dig in. So you and I have had a slight, we never totally disagree, a slight disagreement on a couple of issues with regard to factories, of which, of course, you are the expert, the most knowledgeable, the guy, the go-to guy. And I'm just kind of out here connecting dots and stuff without doing any actual research. I just listen to guys like you, but I listen to everybody. And when I listen to everybody right now, there's a couple of things I am still confused about. So let's start with one of my new favorite subjects, which is Model 3. And I am looking at Model 3 and going, well, okay, sales are so far okay. They're not great yet from anything that we're hearing, but they're okay. They're doing well. And when we get into the new year, get past Christmas, I know the first quarter is not supposed to be a big time for auto sales, but I think when we get into a new year, if there's any reduction in these interest rates at all, Model 3 could really become a big seller. And so I've been trying to get you to tell me where in the heck we're going to make Model 3s if it turns out that Model 3s sell out of the existing capacity in Fremont and in Shanghai. And so far, you basically just said, well, they'll just make more in those two locations. And I'm like, okay, but there's a limit to how many they can make in those two locations. What is the backup? Do you think there is a plan B?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Thanks for having me on. No,
don't forget, he's on My Tesla Weekend. Make sure you follow him on his channel and on X, and and sign up for his Patreon.
All the places.
He needs
all those places.
Lots of Patreon help.
I do. So the first thing we know is Fremont will make more than they've made before. Of course they will. It's going to soon be transferred over from the existing Model 3 to the 3 Plus, the 3 Fresh. And Shanghai is already making that switch. They're accelerating it. They had still been making the old version in performance and long range. Those may be phased out, or performance. It might have just been performance that they were still making. Those may already be phased out. And as they get into just the new one, volume will increase, but only a bit, only incrementally. We might see a 10, 15% increase. To the bottom line, that's not going to be a lot. In Fremont, we'll see the same bump. But what happens if it takes off in ways that weren't expected? Could they retool a line in Texas to handle it? And the answer is yeah. There's no reason they couldn't. Okay. It would be less than ideal, but we've seen them change plans radically midstream to accommodate a shift in demand they didn't expect. When Texas was being built, the plan was we're going to build it in phase 1, Cybertruck, phase 2, Model Y, phase 3 to be determined. Then they did a $5 billion fundraiser and found that the stock price wasn't affected. So they did another $5 billion raise, and the stock price, and they're like, wow, okay, so we've got enough cash. We're doing all 3 phases at once. And as they started building it, they surely noticed, hey, we're not getting the kind of yields out of 4680 we were hoping for. Why don't we build Model Y instead? There's so much demand. And if we build them in Texas, we can bring the price down a bit. That will increase demand further. So they put in a line for Model Y, and we know that they've been loading in equipment and setting up lines 2 and 3, which it does not appear that they have turned on. They are still running If they are running more than one line, they're not running around the clock.
Right.
So they could drastically, maybe triple Model Y output, or only double it and add in a line for Model 3. Why wouldn't they?
Why?
We know 3 wouldn't they? So they could. That's something that I believe they could do. Remember when they decided we need another Model Y line, so they put it up in a tent with spare parts? That's something if they can do that in a month, cranking out more Model 3s from Texas could be done as well. I don't know if the paint shop has quite the capacity, but that's something they know. And if there's one thing the paint shop is very big in Texas, because it's not just on the ground floor. There's also one on what's essentially the third floor. In that part of the building, it's the second, but it's around the third floor height. It's a good 60 feet off the ground. But I think, they could, push comes to shove, start making Model 3s in Texas. And they might even want to do that before they push them out from Fremont. So there's less opportunity for unexpected downtime. But I just don't know. And I don't think it is known how strong the demand is yet. Right. There's pent up demand for just something new and just more Model 3s and just a little bit cheaper ones. Is it really significantly more demand that would have a lasting impact? We don't know that yet.
Right.
All right. The question is,
same question, second verse.
Berlin.
Yeah.
Berlin. Could they? Yeah. Could they do it in Berlin?
Yeah. Okay.
Why not?
All right.
Because the same equipment exists. We've seen them bringing in equipment that would support that. We've seen enough casting machines going in. But as of a comment that I read recently from someone on X who seemed trustworthy, and as I recall, it might have been corroborated by Tobias Lind, the drone pilot, is that they are currently only running one line in Berlin, which means they've got space, they've got the equipment. They could also put in a Model 3 line. And why wouldn't they? There was a news story I'd seen years ago that I can never find again that said that they were trying out building 3s on the new Model Y line in China just to see if they could. Can't find that article, but I'm confident that that's not something I dreamt up. If that's the case, forget building them on the same line. Just building them on parallel lines would do the trick, because you've seen multiple cars built on the same line before. Audi and Porsches are built on the same line in some instances. So why couldn't they if the demand is there? Now there was rumors that, that big expansion to the north, that's going to be for Model 3. And I kept telling you, fools, no, they're not building a whole new facility for Model 3. The demand just isn't quite strong enough for that model. And then, of course, a few days ago, we did hear that my theory is correct. It's going to be for the compact.
Yes. So that brings up the next subject, which is the Gen 3 subject. And again, you and I were in total agreement that the new facility in Berlin would be for the Gen 3 product. And then we had a disagreement over the biography news that came out with regard to whether Gen 3 vehicles would be made in Austin. And I believe we talked about it maybe even last Tuesday or last week, one day, I think, or it might have been 2 weeks ago. And we talked about it and you said, well, you could imagine a pilot line. We're now hearing some pretty smart guys that are saying that they think it'll be a full-on line, maybe just one line, but that they'll put one line in somehow. Now, this is the Unboxed thing, so it works completely differently. And that maybe it's one guy who it might have been Jeff Lutz, maybe not, but somebody said they might just be moving things around to make the space.
That doesn't fit with Tesla's design philosophy. If you could just move things around, they wouldn't build factories. They wouldn't go with greenfield construction. They would hermit crab into existing buildings and build there. When it comes to megapacks, they could do that. The space is flexible enough, the line is straight enough and linear enough that they could do that. But there's a reason Tesla only builds their own factories and doesn't just try to make do. And it's because the if you can save $50 in efficiency on a car that you're going to make $1 million of, that's 50 million in a year, that's $500 million over 10 years on one $50 cost improvement.
Right.
And it wouldn't be one, it'd be a cascade of them, which would be, now we're talking billions in savings. So I haven't seen anything that would indicate that they're ready to shift back to to retooling existing space. I don't see why they'd want to. I don't see why they'd need to. And I don't think battery supply is ready to ramp something of that volume today, but it will be in a year or two. So and the whispers on the ground have mentioned nothing about this. I haven't talked to anyone in Texas who has heard any whispers that they're starting work on the compact. And I've seen a lot of very high profile speculation that, oh, well, they've already got the car done. Where'd you hear that? Because I haven't heard that. Well, we've seen drawings. My friend, we've seen drawings of all kinds of things.
Yes, of course. Yes, we have.
That's not exactly that's not definitive. So yeah, I still say they're going to need a custom space. There are a lot more areas in Texas that are being graded where they could put something big and new of sufficient size. The problem is in Mexico, it's going to be at least 4 million square foot facility, probably much larger than that. If you're going to put an unboxed assembly line somewhere, it's going to have a very big footprint. And squeezing it into the existing factory that's already making Model Y and Cybertruck, both of which are expected to do tremendous volume, doesn't make sense to me. Now, they do have an extension at the south end of that building, but I'm not confident it is of sufficient size to fill that need.
All right. So one idea that just popped into my pea brain would be, what about if they were to do like they did in Reno in Mexico, and they would build a section quickly in Mexico that was just for the first iteration of the Gen 3 vehicle?
I don't know if it would do the trick. I think all the pieces need to be there. I think trying to build a 500 piece puzzle on a folding card table that's too small on a little dinner tray would be more frustration and more work than it's worth trying to get it all together in the end.
Okay, so if we can assume that shovels are probably not going to go in the ground until at the earliest January,
I think
it'd be shocking if they went in the next 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. So we'll talk about January, and we can assume that it's 18 months.
I would say 18 is a good minimum.
So we're probably looking at 18. So we're looking at the middle of 2025 in your
at the earliest.
I was going to say humble, but no, in your case, it would not be nothing humble about it.
No humility.
No,
just esteem.
So middle of 2025 before we're going to see any Gen 3s, at least out of Mexico. Now, maybe Berlin comes together sooner. No, that's not going to happen. So we're looking at middle 2025.
That is what it looks like to me. I don't see a way or a place to do it quicker. I'm hopeful that if they do a pilot in Texas, that it would be something where the units end up saleable, but we haven't seen that before. Pilot lines have not built saleable products in the past.
Right.
So I don't know.
Okay. There was news overnight from Shanghai where their Shanghai spokeslady, I forget her name, said that the mega pack, what did she call it? A mega pack, no, a mega
factory.
The mega factory. She mentions the mega factory. So I'm thinking the fact that she mentioned it, I realize this is a leap on my part, but the fact that she mentioned it, even in passing, would suggest to me that probably, like Lathrop, this is well along in being created and gotten ready, and someday they're just going to say, oh yeah, we just forgot to mention it. What do you think?
I think that is absolutely sound reasoning. We saw that with the Lathrop Megafactory 1. They said, oh, here's a groundbreaking. And you look at it, and that's half a building. There's half a building there. And 6 months later, it was done. In Shanghai, they've got a supercharger factory in Berlin. They did not announce it until it was complete. There's a nearby 2-floor logistics storage building. I don't know what's in there, but it's a very big Tesla building. It was never announced. One of the drone pilots stumbled onto it and flew it, and okay, this is a thing. And then, and we know that they are not friendly to drone pilots in Shanghai. Giga Shanghai does not like them. They will no longer let them fly even the perimeter. They will jam their signals, and when your drone goes down, tough luck for you, buddy. And those are expensive little toys. So I would not be surprised if there is a Tesla factory under construction and half done, almost done, somewhere along the way, and we just don't know.
No. Okay. All right. Well, Brian, I think we're closer. Either I've come your way or you've come my way, or both, but I think it's possible that this relationship will last.
Let's not be hasty.
Thanks as always for coming on and amusing me, even whether or not you amuse those folks out there or not. We'll let them tell us in the what do you call it? We call it the comments. We'll let us know in the comments if Brian has amused you today. But enough with the comments already about Brian's really funny and you're all right too, Randy. No, that's those kind of comments just don't cut it.
Makes sense.
All right. Hey, it's been great talking to you. Thank you, Brian, for being on.
You bet.
And follow him on My Tesla Weekend. Is somebody going to join Patreon? All right, I'm going to make a deal. This is going to be, I've done this once before. It worked a little bit. Actually got a lot of people joining Patreon the last 2 weeks. But the last 2 days, not a single soul. So let's get you up on Patreon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you one free audiobook. You can have 2 free if you want, or you can have 1 free audiobook and the Cybertruck bottle opener. How's that? 1 and 1. Okay. If you join at the $10 level, not at the $5 level. If you join at the $5 level, you just get the 1 book. Now, if you're completely new to the channel, this is a bottle opener. It is a refrigerator magnet. It is 3mm thick, stainless steel, really, really tough. Comes in a very cool magnetic box that makes it a great gift item. It's got all kinds of people now buying them as gifts as a result of the fact that I have so many people that want to buy them as gifts, and they're putting in these larger orders. I do have it all down. I think I put it all down below. I'll have to double check and make sure that it's up to date. They're normally $25 a piece. You get 2 for $45. You get 3 for $60. Okay. You get 100 for $210, and you get 200 for $400. Gets you all the way down to $20 a piece. If you are out of the country, I need you to add another $20 to that for freight, whichever one of those ones you pick. And then if you are, and then please let me know camo or regular. And of course you can mix and match if you buy quantities, however you want to set that up. So is there anything else I have left for you tonight? I think I've said it all. I have enjoyed speaking with you yet again.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.